And it was in the 480th year after the departure of the children of Israel from Egypt, in the 4th year in the month Ziv, which is the 2nd month of Solomon's reign over Israel, that he did begin to build the house of the Lord. And the house which King Solomon built for the Lord, the length thereof was 60 cubits, and the breadth thereof 20 cubits, and the height thereof 30 cubits, and the porch before the temple of the house 20 cubits was the length thereof. Before the breadth of the house, and 10 cubits was the breadth thereof before the house. And he made for the house windows broad without and narrow within. And against the wall of the house he built a chamber round about, against the walls of the house round about, both of the temple and of the sanctuary. And he made chambers round about. The nethermost chamber was 5 cubits broad, and the middle was 6 cubits broad, and the third was 7 cubits broad, for he made rebatements in the wall of the house round about on the outside, that the beam should not have hold in the walls of the house. And the house, when it was in building, was built of stone finished at the quarry, and there was neither hammer nor axe, nor any tool of iron heard in the house while it was in building. The door of the lowest chamber was in the right side of the house, and with winding stairs they went up into the middle chamber, and from the middle into the third. And he built the house and finished it, and he covered the house with paneling and joined planks of cedar. And he built the chambers against all the house, each 5 cubits high, and he covered the house with timber of cedar. And the words of the Lord came to Solomon, saying, Concerning this house which you are building, if you walk in my statutes and execute my ordinances, keep all my commandments to walk in them, then will I establish my word with you, which I spoke to David your father, and I will dwell among the children of Israel, and will not forsake my people Israel. Solomon built the house and finished it. And he built the walls of the house within boards of cedar, from the floors of the house till the joists of the ceiling. He covered them on the inside with wood, and he covered the floor of the house with boards of cypress. And he built the 20 cubits at the end of the house with boards of cedar, from the floor into the joists of the ceiling, and he built it within for a sanctuary for the Holy of Holies. 40 cubits was the house, that is the temple before the sanctuary. The cedar of the house within was carved with knobs and open flowers, all was cedar. There was no stone seen. The sanctuary he prepared in the midst of the house, within to set there the ark of the covenant of the Lord. Then the sanctuary was 20 cubits in length, 20 cubits in breadth, 20 cubits in height. And he overlaid it with pure gold, and he covered the altar with cedar. Solomon overlaid the house from within with pure gold, and he barred with chains of gold before the sanctuary, and he overlaid it with gold. And the whole house he overlaid with gold, and all the house was finished. And the whole altar was by the sanctuary he overlaid with gold. And he made within the sanctuary 2 cherubim of olive wood, each 10 cubits its height. And 5 cubits was the one wing of the cherub, and 5 cubits the other wing of the cherub. 10 cubits were from the uttermost part of its one wing to the uttermost part of its other wing. 10 cubits was the other cherub. Both the cherubim were one measure and one form. The height of the one cherub was 10 cubits, and so was it of the other cherub. And he set the cherubim within the inner house, and they stretched forth the wings of the cherubim. And the wing of one touched the wall, and the wing of the other cherub touched the other wall. And their wings in the midst of the house touched one another. And he overlaid the cherubim with gold. And all the walls of the house he surrounded with figures, carved figures of cherubim and palm trees, and open flowers from within and for the one without. And the floor of the house he overlaid with gold for the one within and for the one without. For the entrance of the sanctuary he made doors of olive wood. The lintel and the side posts were of 5 parts, and 2 doors of olive wood, and he carved upon them carving of cherubim, palm trees and open flowers, and he overlaid them with gold, and spread the gold upon the cherubim and upon the palm trees. And he made likewise for the entrance of the temple side posts of olive wood of 4 parts, 2 doors of cypress wood. The 2 leaves of one door were folding, and the 2 leaves of the other door were folding. And he carved thereon cherubim and palm trees and open flowers, and he overlaid them with gold fitted upon the carved work. And he built the inner court with 3 rows of hewn stone and a row of cut cedar beams. And the 4th year was the foundation of the house of the Lord, laid in the month of Ziv. In the 11th year, in the month of Bol, which is the 8th month, the house was finished throughout all the parts thereof, and according to all the fashion of it, and he built it 7 years.